Finishing up the review from yesterday, we're going to work through problems 14 through 28. And again, I urge you to print it out, or those of you who already have the copy, write things down so that you have stuff to look at, because your final is going to follow this number to number practically. And so you're just going to want to make sure that you have the little pieces of information in front of you so you don't have to search too far. So we did discuss slope, how you plug that in. We've got our couple of things that I talked about. I know we've done these already, but I just want to bring that up again. Undefined if you get 0 on the bottom, and 0 if you get 0 on the top. And keep in mind the y's go on the top, so if the y's are the same, then the top will be 0 and it's 0. If the x's are the same, then the bottom will be 0 and it's undefined. So watch out for those things. Don't forget to write it as a fraction. I get this mistake a lot when people are working through, they forget that. I think these are pretty self-explanatory. The slope is the number in front, the y-intercept is the number after, and again we talked about how you write your equation of your line. Just remember, if your line is dropping, make sure your slope is negative, and you're counting your rise and your run and writing them as a fraction. So my slope was -2/1. All right, so on to today's stuff. I jotted down a few things that you're going to want to know. Y equals mx plus b, that's slope-intercept form. If I have the m and I have the b, it's as easy as that. Y equals -1/4 x plus 0. Or I can just write it as y equals -1/4 x, because I don't need to write the 0. Either one is fine. Most likely, on a multiple choice, it will write it in the form, the most simplified form. So you'll probably see it in that form. But if this were anything other than 0, then that would go in that spot. This seems like it was forever ago that we worked on the slope-intercept form from standard form. Standard form goes ax plus by equals c. That means the coefficient in front of x is a, the coefficient in front of y is b, and the constant number is c. So the formula is slope is opposite of a over b, y-intercept is c over b. So if I go with that concept, a is 3, b is -4, c is 8. There's a difference between little b, y-intercept, big B, the number in front of the y, so don't confuse those. I know I'm just saying it as b this, b that, but remember the size of the letter here makes a difference. It represents something different each time. So my slope is the opposite of a, so -3, over b, which is -4. Well, double negatives are going to become positive. And my y-intercept is c over b, which I can reduce down to -2. So that's my y-intercept. I forgot to put that in there, little b. Now that I have these values, my slope and my y-intercept, I can just plug it in. Y equals 3/4 x. It's plus -2, which I write as -2. So then that would be my slope-intercept form. I know it takes really long for me to talk through it, but if you have all these pieces there written down, jot this down, then you have something to refer to when you do this on your test tomorrow. It doesn't always have me write it in slope-intercept form, but if it does, I have to do y equals mx plus b. Another form that we have is y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. That's point slope form. And sometimes it's helpful to use point slope form, and even better than that, sometimes I'm asked to just write it in point slope form. Well, that's nice, because in point slope form, you don't have to do any simplifying. I've got a point, so I have x1, y1, I've got a slope, and so if I were going to plug everything into the right spot, it would be y minus y1 equals my slope times x minus x1. It was minus -4, so I wrote it as +4. Because this wants to be in slope-intercept form, I do have to do some moving around. So y minus 0 is just y. Distribute this through, I get the opposite of x minus 4, so that would be my final answer for that. Let's say this was something other than 0, maybe I'd have to add it over to the other side. But like I said, if they ask me to leave it in point slope form, even better, because once I get it in this form here, I'm done. Which brings me to the next problems that ask me to write it in point-slope form. Yay, I like point-slope form. Again, it makes my life easy. When I am going through a point and parallel to a given line, parallel lines have the same slope, so all I need to do is find the slope. And then I have my x1, y1. So when I write this form, it's y minus -3, minus -3 becomes plus +3, equals same slope, -5/4 times x minus 4. I don't know what I wrote there, but certainly wasn't a -4. Minus 4. And I'm done because it said leave it in point slope form. Again, yay, I don't have to do anything more than that. I don't have to distribute, I don't have to clean up, I don't have to get it into the form y equals mx plus b. I can stop there. So if you're doing this on your test, just watch for where these are. Again, it's going to be multiple choice, so take a look at your x1, y1. My x should go over here, and it should be the opposite sign, so this is +4, it's -4. My y should go next to the y, and it's going to be the opposite sign, so if it's -3, it should be +3, because it's minus y1 minus x1. And then the slope is the same slope that was from the line. If it is perpendicular, then it has what we call an opposite reciprocal slope. That just really is, translation is flip and change the sign. So I take the slope 1/4 and I flip it 4/1 and change the sign. If it was negative, I'd make it positive, but this one's positive, so I make it negative. So actually it's -4 when I reduce it. Now I have my x1, y1, and I can put it in the form of the equation. Y minus -3 equals -4 times x minus 2. Again, it says leave it in point slope form, so I can stop right there. That is the end of the line and slope chapter. So we're going to move on to the polynomial section. Now we're into our chapter 3 material, and in chapter 3 we had to work with simplifying polynomials, and we did that by adding together two polynomials or subtracting two polynomials, multiplying what we call monomials using our power rules. We also multiplied two polynomials by double distributing. And that was a pretty quick chapter, so that was all we had in it. When I'm adding polynomials, I just have to find the like terms. And because it's plus, nothing fancy happens. Everything stays as is. I just combine it as I see it. So 4's like term is 5. I do 4 plus 5 or 9, plus 3x to the 4th plus 2x to the 4th. That's 5x to the 4th plus 6x squared plus 3x squared plus 9x squared. The only thing that you might have to work on or watch out for signs if you have plus and minus in here, but you just do exactly like if this was 3x squared or x to the 4th, and then this was minus 2, then I would do plus -2. Not a big deal, just watch out for your signs, okay? But when it's multiple choice, it will always put it in descending order. So I'll write it from highest power to lowest power as my final answer. Up next, what if I'm subtracting? Well, when you're subtracting, everything that comes after the minus has to change the sign. Subtraction is like the opposite. So this is 1 minus 8x minus 8x cubed minus the 6. That was positive, becomes minus 6. The minus 5x cubed becomes positive 5x cubed. The minus 6x becomes positive 6x. So change all the signs in the second thing from the parenthesis. That 6 was positive, I make it minus. This was a minus, I make it plus. Minus, make it plus. Now I can do exactly like I did in the last one, just combine like terms. This is 1 minus 6, negative 5. Then it's minus 8x plus 6x minus 2x. Minus 8x cubed has nothing to combine with, so minus 8x cubed. And then lastly, plus 5x squared. Oh, that should have been 5x cubed, so sorry, I'm wrong. So minus 8x cubed plus 5x cubed is minus 3x. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let me try that again. Back it up. So it was, I wrote that down wrong. It should have been a cubed. I wrote it as a squared by accident. So this is minus 8x cubed plus 5x cubed minus 3x cubed. Again, I write it in descending order, so highest power negative 3x cubed. Keep the sign in front of it. And then minus 2x minus 5. Final answer. All right, quick review on power rules. Remember, if the bases are the same, you just add the powers. If you're dividing, you essentially subtract. What I do is I look at where are there more and where is it. So if there's more on the top, it stays on the top. If there's more on the bottom, it stays on the bottom. But I still do the difference between them. Power on a power, you multiply those powers. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Anything that doesn't have a power on, I assume that it is raised to the first power. So put your numbers together, 2 times 2. Put your variables together, u to the third, v to the fourth, v to the first. Multiply the big numbers, 4. Add the powers, u to the sixth, v to the fifth. Done. This again is a power on a power. So it goes to everything. This is like 3 to the first, so 3 to the 1 times 2, 3 squared, x to the 2 times 2, x to the fourth. 9x to the fourth would be my answer for that one. So I multiplied the powers there. 1 times 2, 2 times 2. Got my powers. Here's one where I'm looking at different variables. Remember how I treated this? There are more m's on the bottom. This is 1 m up here on the top. There are more m's on the bottom. The 3 is going to stay up on the top because it's got nothing to combine with. I have 3 more m's on the bottom, and I don't have anything that I can do with the ends. So there's my final problem. And then lastly, again, I'm going to put stuff together. 2 doesn't have anything to combine with. This is u to the negative second, u to the first, and then v to the 0, v to the first. So 2u to the negative first, v to the positive first. This seems like a long time ago that we talked about this, but if I have a negative power, that means it goes on the bottom. Anything else with positive power stays on the top. So this is 2v on top, u, and I could put a first on each of those, but I don't need it, and it won't be written that way when you do it on your test as well, and when it's in multiple choice. All right, we're clearing the end, or nearing the end here. Double distribute. Remember, I multiply everything in the first by everything in the second. So I have 14x squared plus 21x, 7x times 2x, 7x times 3, plus 2 times 2x, 4x, plus 6. I can combine my like terms, 14x squared plus 25x plus 6. Final answer on that one. And up last is our reverse distribute and our snowflake and diamond. This was the last chapter. This is kind of what we're working on now. So reverse distribute, what does every single one of these have in common? What factor do they share? And I can definitely take a 2 out of each of them, as well as an r squared. So 2r squared goes out front. And then what would I multiply 2r squared by to get 14r to the 8th? That's 7r to the 6th, because 2 plus 6 is 8. Plus 10r to the 1st. I don't need to write the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Minus 6, and no r's because I took both of the r squareds out. That's my reverse distribute answer. This is how it's going to be written. Sometimes if you can't find this in your multiple choice answer, look to see if there's something more you can take out. Sometimes you think it might be this, and I look back and I go, oh, I could take out another r, or I could take out another value. So be careful, but on this one, I can't take anything else out. There's no other common factor left in there. And then we'll finish off strong with our diamond. Remember, it's a variation. The variable is n, so n goes here and here. Top, is that end number, bottom is the middle number without the variable. I have to multiply to get 32, add to get negative 12. If I can't find it, sometimes I do 1 and 32, 2 and 16, 3 doesn't go in, so there's nothing, 4 and 8. Okay, here I go. 4 and 8 is 12. Because it's negative 12, I have to do negative 4 and negative 8, and then I just double check. If I multiply those two, negative 4 times negative 8, do I get positive 32? Yes. If I add them, do I get negative 12? So my answer is n minus 4, n minus 8. Or it could be n minus 8, n minus 4. If you don't see it in this order, it could be in the other order, and that's fine. You do have to remember that on occasion you're going to have to reverse distribute first. So I can pull out in this problem a 3. So minus 2x minus 8. And so when I give my answer, a 3 is going to be in front. So keep that in mind. Sometimes you're going to have to do a little bit extra work. Now I'll make my diamond. So I have an x and an x. On the top is negative 8. Bottom is negative 2. When I think about this, it looks like negative 4 and positive 2. So I'll write this as x minus 4, x plus 2. Again, this could be flipped around. It could be 3, x plus 2, x minus 4. But the signs have to stay with them. It could be one or the other here. All right, good luck. Study. Make sure you make notes. You can go back, rewind, jot things down. Follow this basic layout for your final tomorrow.